Yes?
I did.
We want to make sure your MO is really there, so we set up these barriers. But obviously you really want it to be here, so hell yeah, okay. All right, let's start off asking everyone. Tonight we are doing something that we've never done before. We are also putting night one as much as we can. We'll see what works out on, okay, but, oh, that's the problem. I see what I'm doing here. Hold on. We're figuring out a few things. It's live on Instagram and on TikTok, potentially YouTube. I'm not sure. We're trying something out. So, here we go. Let's go ahead, everyone. Welcome. In the chat, or you can say it out loud, whatever, where you are from. I like to get an idea of where everyone is from. And I will let you know that right now I am teaching. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm in Israel currently. Let's see. Boston. A lot of you in Boston. Amazing. Victoria, Texas, North Carolina, South Louisiana, Baltimore, Warner Robins, Georgia, Queens, New York, Illinois, California, Northern California, Orlando, Florida, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Missouri, Florida, Minnesota. Oh, and everyone on Instagram and TikTok, where are you guys from? Do we have anything coming in over there? Where are they from? Where is everyone saying? Georgia, upstate New York, California. Anywhere cool?
Nobody's commenting.
Illinois is always a delay. New York, Macon, Georgia, Toronto, Florida, whoa, Las Vegas, Warner Robins, Georgia. Me too. 2 people from Warner okay. Ben and Natalie, if you guys are, or no, Warner Robins, Ben and Megan, you guys, if you're both in this Warner Robins, Georgia, you have to get together. Yeah, you have to get together. Like,
and then you have to send us a picture. Maybe it's love at first sight. Like love at first collective.
All right, so if anyone is watching on Instagram or TikTok right now, you can join by using the link that I'll have someone in the, if you go to one of our last stories, you could see that you could join class live, so you don't have to watch it like through the screen behind us that we're trying to do it on. You could join class tonight for free, the Try Before You Buy. And if you're here tonight in class with the Try Before You Buy, I will not be addressing anyone directly anymore on social after this because I am locked into the collective. So if you are wanting to join in, go to one of our last stories and you'll be there. Okay, so is that someone else from Warner Robins, Georgia? Like, or no? That's two. Okay.
No,
I was like, that's wild. All right, Riverside, California. Amazing. So just make sure is there any issues getting in before we like really start class? Anyone?
Give it a minute. A couple people are still
Okay.
stuck on the registration page on Zoom.
Oh, that's what that was that it was making. Okay. Oh my gosh, more friends being made in the collective already. We have Erica and Soha. Am I saying your name right? You guys are close to each other. Seems like a steady group to me. Love making matches. Actually, my newest hobby is making matches with BCBAs at clinics. So whenever you guys are ready to find your job, after you pass with us, holla at your girl. Let's see. Okay, I'm actually going to Virginia Beach. Nice. Ben, are you with, what's his name? Who founded Apollo? All right. Kim, Dean Kim. Tonight, it's seeming like a lot of connections are being made in here. And by the way, last time, if you're watching Instagram or TikTok, you could be in here too making friends. It's free if you want to join tonight. Just get the link in the story. Austin, Texas. Cool. All right. Cool, Ben. Very cool. All right, people, I'm going to give it just a few extra minutes tonight because there is a reason that people were not, there was something different that people could not get in, so, oh my gosh. It was
People
difficult to
saying
get in.
can't get in either.
What?
People on the Instagram live.
People on Instagram Live are saying they can't get in. Okay, so that's cool because I'm sure Julia will be responding and Kara in the Snappa. My best friend Nicole Winkler and I joined together. Love you guys. We love you too. I'm so happy to have you here. People had trouble finding the link. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rely on this reliable Snappa team here to make sure everyone gets in all over. Danielle and I could fly with teaching from here, but if people could just make sure everyone's in, I'm going to assign between all of you, you could each take one of these live platforms. Okay.
All right, let me know when you're ready to record, and I am ready to record.
Okay, and let me just, I have to move the chat near me because, you know, when I see it popping up,
You need to. You
it's,
probably just need to not heat up. I don't know. Can
no, I
you
know, I have to exit, I meant I need to exit it, that's what I was saying. Okay.
Make me the host instead of a co-host.
No, Julia's actually the host because she is,
Okay, perfect.
she's the one
Okay,
sharing
that's
it.
fine. Beautiful.
However, I am, okay, move that. All right. You guys, everyone on the Snappa team, you've got it to help on the different areas.
Yes. Ready, baby. Let's do it.
All right. And
5, 4, 3, 2.
Recording in progress.
hi, everyone. Welcome to night 1 of the collective. Tonight is the first night of class, which is very exciting because it's a new group of you. We actually finished our last collective on Wednesday, so we are going right into a new collective. Very exciting.
I have 2 classes, too.
Yeah, and there was 2 free classes this weekend, so if you're here, we're happy to have you. If you're new, welcome. If you're trying it, welcome. If you signed up for class, good for you, you're in the right place. So right now, because both of my phones are actually being used for, I need someone to do math for me. I need you to take 1 divided by 24 in your calculator. I want to say it's maybe, I'm going to guess 5%? No, 4%. What
I'm
is,
in charge of the fractions. That's not my job.
anyone in here, give it to me.
Baby.
Okay, I'll have to use a calculator. Okay, good. Thank you, Casey. Casey just won a sticker from Snappa. Send an email to contact@studynotesaba.com. You have got your first reinforcement with us. After tonight's class, we are 4.1% through the collective, okay? So let's just say 4% through the collective. We will always go through how far we are before each class. So you know, okay, by now I know 50% of the content. Now I've done 60%, and your score you should see going up as you go through class. So, without further ado, let's go. This is our friendly reminder. We always post not to steal our shit, disseminate it, tell everyone how great we are, but don't share your exact notes because this is how we have Snappa and make our livelihood. So, now to the good part. Yo, we are so excited to meet you. We are so excited every time we get a new group of students. At this point, it's incredible of how many people we have been able to meet or come into contact with or touch in some way and be a part of your study journeys. I am very excited, so excited that I am this energetic at 2:30 in the morning, and it's exciting to be here with all of you. But the thing that we live for more than anything is we're way more excited to help you pass. Passing the BCBA, BCABA exam is what we live for. Like right before we got on, Danielle was like, guess what? 4 of my students I tutored just passed the exam in the last 2 weeks. It's like we are passing over and over again. We were once in your shoes studying for the exam. We remember what it was like, and we are able to get that feeling of passing the test over and over because we live vicariously through all of you. So, thank you for coming and letting us continue to do what we love to do. We are pros at this. I would say you can really trust us. I have been studying for the last 9 years, 8 years, 9 years. I have to think about it. It's in, forget math. 9 years.
Mine's, yeah, you're probably maybe 9.5 because I'm 5.5.
Okay, yeah, so I have been studying for this exam for the last 9.5 years. I've been carrying a Cooper book with me for a while now, and it's crazy. I essentially have been a student forever. So, here is our breaking news for you, for everyone. Studying does not have to suck. And this comes as a shock to a lot of people, but whatever you've learned about studying until now, whatever you've been conditioned to think about studying, that like it has to be this aversive process, we have taken it very seriously here at SNAVA to make it not suck. In fact, dare I say, fun. You are going to enjoy the process with us. You are going to learn a shit ton. You're going to meet people that are doing the exact same thing as you. You're going to create a big art project by the end of it. You're going to remember this shit. You're going to be able to apply it everywhere in your life. So get ready, because right now you are seeing the world through a completely different lens, and you're going to see it when we're done with you. So step 1 is this. Everyone, we're going to do it together. Take a deep breath. And I actually find that I need it too on night 1. It's like excitement, nerves. And that deep breath is because from here on out, if you are here, we truly have you. From tonight's class titled, I'm signed up for the test, now where the hell do I start? All the way through every single concept you're going to need to know in your Cooper book. We are going to tell you what to do every step of the way. What you should be doing at that time, how much of your content you should know, what you should be reading when, what you should be scoring on your mock exams, when it's time to start taking mock exams. Up until now, if you are here, you know when you signed up for grad school or your whatever program you were in for ABA, from that day, they tell you you're going to be taking a test at some point. I remember hearing about that and being like, oh my God, how am I going to study for this test? From the day I started grad school. And you're like trying to take it all in, but at the same time, grad school, in case you're here, I want to just take a stress load off of you and tell you that this, whatever you know right now is okay. This program is literally made to take you from as if you knew nothing. So whatever you learned in grad school is just a bonus. But we're going to take you from literally the bottom all the way to the nitty-gritty of everything on the test. So if you're like, I had shitty supervision, I hate to tell you, you're not special. Unfortunately, I hear this all the time. It makes me sad. But we have created it that no matter what supervision or whatever you learned in grad school, I know you're just trying to keep your head above water in grad school, we have got you. So know that you're in the right place. We live for this. We eat, sleep, and breathe it. Here we go. Before we get started, I just want to tell you the non-negotiables, and in case you ever heard any rumors out there being like, you don't even need to read your Cooper book, I don't know who said that, don't believe it. The test is written on the Cooper book. So for this test, you are going to have to read your Cooper and your ethics book, okay? We will assign you what to be reading when. If you find the Cooper book boring, don't worry, because we explain everything to you. And then you could go look at your book for further examples. You'll go read it after class, and you'll be like, oh, I get this. Your ethics book. You have that book, and I'm going to have Danielle hold them up for you over here.
Yes, hold on, I'm getting it.
Danielle's Cooper book with the SNAVA cover on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say my book is dressed, and then here's your ethics book.
Beautiful.
Well,
You have to like put it really close, I think. Yeah. All right. So everyone in the chat, you can go ahead and hold up your Cooper book and your ethics book to show you're ready. If you don't have it yet, we will post a link in the chat. Also, it happens to be that somehow Walmart.com is selling the Cooper book for cheaper than it's ever sold, like $100 cheaper. So we'll put that in the chat for you. We're always looking for the best deals, you know.
and it makes you, because it's such a reasonable price, it makes me want to just buy another one.
Right? It's like for each location.
Yes.
Like my work copy, my this. Yes. Okay. So you are going to need these books. These books are going to become your best friend. This is for all my ADD, neurodiverse friends out there. Anyone who is like me and has shiny ball syndrome. Okay? You can make studying not suck by picking and sticking. What does this mean? This means that there are going to be a lot of things, like you start studying one way and you're like, oh wait, you know what? I think I should use this method, or I think I should use Quizlet online, or I think I should use something else. I studied the beginning items of the 7 dimensions, for example, when I was studying, probably 13 different ways due to my ADHD. I was like, I'm going to use this. No, I'm going to use my friend's notes. No, I'm going to take my own notes. No, I'm actually going to use this. And because of that, I studied the 7 dimensions, which not to say, I mean, now I know them very well, but I didn't have time to be studying them for that long. So if you are going to be using Snappa, decide, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to lock in on this. I'm going to trust the process, and I'm going to be here. If Snappa is not for you, which tonight, by the way, that's why we do the try before you buy, because maybe you'll be like, it's not for me. I do not, this is too crude for me. This is not how I learn. I don't like taking notes during class. That's fine. We know we're not everyone's cup of tea. So if we're not for you, whatever method you choose, I'm going to tell you, take this same rule, pick and stick. If we are for you, amazing. We'd love to have you. All right. So that's my advice there. Next, how to make studying not suck. Tab your Cooper book. Okay? Anyone in here have a tab Cooper book? If so, hold it up. Let's see it.
Oh, I have it.
Okay, I see Tessa, amazing. Stephanie, Olivia, Holly, oh my god, all you guys with your tab Cooper books. I love it, amazing. Desiree, okay, so I see some of you guys have done your own tabs, cool. This is something, if you see like those pretty ones that like Olivia's holding up, we offer the Cooper tabs on our website. We can put it in the chat for you. You do not need to get ours. You can put your own in. We just offer the different things to make it easier for you. They are already pre-labeled. They have the exact, they have a QR code on the back, which gives you a printout to make sure that you stack them perfectly in your book to make your book look sexy. I am telling you, you are more likely to read your book if it is tabbed, okay? What does that mean? That's an antecedent intervention. You are more likely to look something up if you could look at the side of your book and be like, oh, okay, I need to look up something in positive reinforcement. Huh?
I was just thinking about that's how I have learned majority of the chapters from the tabs. So I can quote most of the chapters.
Yeah, it's like, because like look in the index, and like, by the way, sometimes we get emails from people. Like, this is serious, okay? Don't be this person. Being like, hey, what page can I find negative reinforcement in the book? And I just want to tell you something. We're going to do the exact same thing as you, okay? We're going to look in our book. We're going to, if it's a specific topic, we might go to the index. You also can do this, believe it or not, okay? But now you can even find the index easier because there's a tab for that as well. So if you are someone and you're like, I really want to be someone to read the book, the tabs are probably the best product we've ever made at Snappa, might I say. Also, it was the most complicated product to make somehow. So, they're all in there. Feel free to use your own tabs. If you want to use ours, amazing. Next. For all of my school supply people out here who live for school supplies and stationery and anything art related, I am here to give you permission that you could buy whatever you want. Okay, so if you're someone who's been looking for an excuse to buy the pens, the pens that are maybe a little too expensive than what you usually buy, you have permission. If you want to buy markers that are better, if you want to buy highlighters that are gel highlighters, do it. If you're someone who would usually buy a 10-cent notebook, buy the $1 notebook. If you're someone who would already buy the $5 notebook, buy the $10 notebook with a hardcover. Whatever it is, I'm giving you permission because you are about to make the most beautiful art project of your life. Okay? You're about to be engaging with these notes. These should be like, if there was a fire in your house, this is the shit you're going to save. You're going to be so proud of what you put together here. So, again, if your spouse is asking you, like, why are you getting all this stuff? Say, Liat told me they could reach out to me. I don't respond to my personal email anyways. So, if you need anything, reach out to contact us, Betty Knows ABA. Get the stickers, do it all. Also, you guys who signed up for any of our collectives, you guys should have all got the pairing packs with you, right? You guys have the positive reinforcement pack. You're excited? Hold those up. Great. They have all the supplies you could need. We put that also in one place for you, and this is the first time that our collectives come with it. They never used to come with it before, but I decided for the full experience, you need that, and you guys have the ultimate collective notebook, right? You have everything ready to take notes. Great. Exciting. So whether you want to write in there in class or you want to write your notes neatly in the collective notebook after class, enjoy it. It's with all different paper and it makes it super fun. All right, another way to make studying not suck. Take your phone out, download the Snabba app, okay? The Snabba app is separate than class, okay? To track what we cover in class, every class, at the end of class, we're gonna say, okay, take your test content outline out, okay? You can have a printed out copy of it or you can have it on the app. It's a free part of the app. You should download it to have it there. And you can also use the app. There's free features to go through people's notes, like an Instagram feed. You can also, there's games on there. There's a free version and then there's a paid version if you decide that you want to access the games or you want to access the thousands of questions on there to do fluency. The app is a great replacement for, let's say, Instagram or whatever, TikTok, whatever else you are doing on your phone. You can comment on people's posts. Seeing other people's notes is fun as well. People post their beautiful notes. Not to mention, on the app, every Saturday and Tuesday, there is a live study group, which you can go to and bring your questions. It is different than the collective. It is not an organized curriculum like it is in here. Danielle will tell you about it. Yes, Danielle.
So I run app group on Saturdays, which is so much fun. It makes my weekend fun. So everyone just comes on Saturday. Tuesday app group, Carol runs. So Carol and I run it a little bit differently. So you get a little bit of 2 different types of BCBAs. But really you just come and you ask your questions and everybody kind of learns from everyone. And so, because there is no dumb question in this test because everything is really difficult. So I just have people put their questions in the chat and then I answer them so everybody can learn from the questions that are being asked. So app group is really fun. It is beneficial. It's about 35-ish minutes, depending on how long I ramble. So, on Saturday.
So, again, I know a lot of you guys have already paid to be here. If you do not want to use the paid part of the app, you do not have to. With what you got being just in class, you have enough to pass the exam, okay? However, we made all these different options as additional things people wanted. So, but you should at least get the app to track what we cover in class. We'll always tell you, and it's so fun to be able to cross shit off. Like, I covered that, I covered that, I covered that. Okay. Another way to make studying not suck, and I'm sure Danielle has a date for this. You need to mark the F out of your Cooper book, okay? If you think that you have this Cooper book that you're going to keep looking beautiful and clean, that's not how you engage with your Cooper book, okay? Your Cooper book is about to be your boyfriend for the next 12 weeks. And you know what? F that. It's going to be your boyfriend after that as well. Because when you're a BCBA, you are going to refer to this shit. If you were someone who had shitty supervision, don't be that supervisor. Be there for your supervisees and open your book with them. Okay? So, to prove that you are going to really lean in and commit to your Cooper book, we always host our Cooper book contest. And what that is you take your Cooper book and you decorate the cover and you can submit it to us either by tagging us on Instagram at StudyNotesABA. I'll write it here for you. Or you could send it to contact@studynotesaba.com. You guys have made some crazy cool covers. I've seen feathers, rhinestones, fur. Make it cool. And another great thing to do is, why don't you put things that are going to remind you of why you're doing this? You'll see why the why is very important in class. So maybe that will inspire it. Now, Cooper books, to enter the contest, you are going to get a swag bag sent to you, okay, if you are the winner. They are due when, Danielle?
They're going to be due on October 15th, so that gives you a couple collectives to get in, and then we'll make the announcement for the winner on October 20th on Monday's class.
Amazing. Announcement. So October 15th, have your Cooper book looking cute. Stage it, make it cute, put a cute background. We are going to choose the winner. With anyone here who has the Snava background on, will be choosing whose book deserves to be featured. And you'll love your book so much more, I promise. Another way to make studying not suck: find a study buddy. Shared adversity, am I right? There's no one else who wants to talk about this shit more than someone else studying for the exam. Okay? I do always recommend that you teach this content to anyone around, whether they know anything about ABA or not, because if you could explain it to a fourth grader, you really understand this shit. But when you are studying, it takes a deeper level of knowledge, so find someone else who is studying. We saw some people in the chat earlier who are from the same place. Now, it's important to remember that you do not have to be in the same place anymore. In fact, I am teaching to you from across the world right now. As long as you are someone who, like, you're like, hey, you know what, I'm on East Coast, me too. Or I'm on Pacific and I wake up really early, and someone else in the East Coast is like, well, that's my lunchtime and that's amazing. So where you are going to find your study buddies, you are going to go to the Facebook group that you got sent when you joined class, right? We post a lot of stuff in there, a lot of tips, a lot of like extra resources you'll find in that Facebook group. And if you're someone, I know someone's going to say, I don't have Facebook, like blah, blah, blah. Get Facebook just for that group. That's what Danielle did, right, Danielle? That's her, like.
Yes.
And it will help you log into apps quicker on your phone. Like, I don't know, like, I use Facebook to log into everything. So, find a study buddy. Also, it's a great way to be like, hey, I was taking this mock, this question, like, really threw me off. What do you think? Or like, hey, at my clinic, they're using this. Would you consider this a DRI or a DRO? Okay? Talk to people about it. Everyone studying is as excited to talk about this shit as you are. So, that's my advice there. And you might make a cool-ass friend. In fact, my first study buddy that I found to study with was a girl named Tabitha, and I used to be in like the ABA study group on like the Facebook group, and I posted like, hey, you know what, I've been studying for the exam, I think I know my shit, anyone want to study with me, I'd love to teach you, okay, because like I learn best by teaching, and if you're someone else and you're the teacher type, find someone who wants to learn the stuff. Anyways, so technically my first student in ABA was this girl Tabitha. We would meet twice a week, and the entire time I thought she lived in Ohio. Then like back then we had to wait for our results to come out, I don't know how many days, like 30 days or 45 days or something annoying. Very delayed reinforcement. I like was like, I'll have to come to Ohio and see you. And we both found out we passed. She was like, I live in New Jersey. So, point of the story is, I was in Dallas, she was in New Jersey, I thought she was in Ohio. It didn't matter, we still studied together, and it made for great studying. So, find someone to study with. Now, here's a second deep breath I'm going to guide. Ready? Everyone, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a deep breath in. We really are going to walk you through every step of the way. We have all the resources you can need. We have in your account, when you're signed up, you'll see the packet titled #extra resources. That's a link to a ton of free resources we put out, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, free classes that match to the class that we're teaching. There's also options for if you're like, hey, you know what? We did IOA today. I really still feel like I need more practice, which you probably won't because I love teaching IOA and you're going to get that shit when I'm done with you. There are options to be like, I want to buy another IOA mock that's just on IOA. That's all in there as well. So just know that we've got you. There's also something I want to remind you of is okay. I heard my voice. That's aversive. All right. So keep a Post-it note next to you in class to write down any questions that come up. By now, I have taught the collective, I have to think, 8 years. I've taught the collective probably at least 30 times, okay? As well as Danielle has taught it many of times. So we have learned what questions are usually going to be asked. So if you give us a second, we probably are going to get there. However, I know what it's like to feel like I cannot take in one bit of information until I ask my question. That is me. I am like, I got to ask my question or I can't hear anything else. So write it down so you feel like you at least put it somewhere. And if we do not get to it, we are so happy to stay on after to answer your questions. So, but it is likely that we will get to it. Also, there will always be 2 BCBAs in the class. Whoever is the lead teacher and the co-teacher. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. Like if there's something that you feel like needs to be answered right then or you missed something, put it in the chat. There will always be someone to answer. All right? Also, just realize that people are in different time zones. So we really try have questions go through the chat during class so that people who are like on the East Coast time can get out when class is done. So keep that in mind. Supply list for each class. You need your Cooper and your ethics book. Have it open to whatever we're talking about. It's a great time for you to like reference something as I say it. Have your notebooks, pens, markers, highlighters. Have a printed off copy of your test content outline if you want, or have it on the app. Print off a copy of the collective homework packet. Each class, you will see in your account, has a homework packet, which is, we're not going to be checking your homework. There's answers in there. But it's a great way for you to review the content from class through like multiple choice, question things, matching, all the fill in the blank. So go ahead and do that after class. And last but not least, I'm going to tell you that I give you permission to choose whatever your reinforcer is. If you want to pour a glass of wine for class, do it. Whatever you need to do to make class more reinforcing, please, by all means. If you know that like you pair class with Sour Patch Kids, that's when you allow yourself to have them, do it. You guys know how behavior works. Pair this with shit that you like, okay? Don't make it only aversive. This is you time. So if you need a glass of wine, no shame in your game. If you need a vodka soda, also, whatever it is you need, because you need to know this shit backwards, forwards, and inside out. I wouldn't say get like completely effed up till after class, save that, but come, set the vibe, have a good time. After each class, you will complete your homework. You'll have assigned ethics modules after some of the classes. Go watch those. And read your assigned Cooper and ethics readings. Now, Danielle and I have different opinions on this. I tell people, I think before class, I would make sure that I have read the summary of the chapter. The end of each Cooper chapter has like little bulleted points of everything that was covered in the chapter. I would read that before class so I at least know what we're going to be covering. And then let us teach it to you, break it down for you in a way you're going to understand it. Then after class, go read the full chapter. Because now you're reading not for, like, sometimes reading this book to learn. By the way, if you're someone who's like, I hate this book, I think it's so boring, you're not alone. A lot of people think that. But when you are going to read it to further look up examples after we've taught it to you, you're going to love your book. So that's my idea. I say go read the summary, then after class, after we've taught it to you and broken it down to you in a language you understand, go read the chapter. Danielle is going to tell you to read the chapter before class.
I am going to tell you to read the chapter beforehand. Here's what I'm also going to tell you, because I have this conversation a lot. I am a firm believer in the book, so I will tell you response effort. So when it comes to reading, reading after work is why everyone hates their book. So you really need to try and read it when you're fresh, which means you may have to get up early. But I would tell you that we're all very busy and we all are adults and we have adult things to do and we have kids and we have a job, and that it's really easy to make an excuse not to read. And I would tell you, you need to read before class so you can't make an excuse not to read after class, because reading your book is really important and it pairs really great with class, so you have a lot of light bulb moments. That's just my opinion of reading.
So, point is, you need to read your book either way, whether you do it before or after. All right.
Read, period.
Yeah, read. In fact, that sounds like a very, practical solution, but it's crazy how many people come to us and I didn't pass the exam, and then we ask a basic question like, did you read your book? And they're like, no. So I just want to tell you that that is probably the most pragmatic approach, is I'm going to tell you, read your book. So every class, we're always going to set the expectations. I'm someone who would never go sit in a Broadway play or anything without a playbill. I need to know how long I'm going to be sitting there, what we're going to be covering, and when the halftime is or the intermission. So we will always give you setting expectations, let you know what we're going to be covering. So tonight is night 1, where we cover, you signed up for the test, now where the hell do you start? Kind of building why you're here, what you're going to be doing. Then we're going to get into actual content. Tonight we will be covering the 3 levels of scientific understanding and the 6 attitudes of science. So get ready, you'll be taking notes on night 1. We're always going to give you a tip of the day and a motivation of the day. So today I'm going to do it a little backwards. I'm going to tell you the motivation of the day. We'll have something different in here every time. And today's motivation is you owe it to yourself to become everything you've ever dreamed of being. Okay, so this test is going to be pure proof to yourself of what you are capable of. You are going to become whatever it is you choose you want to be. No matter what the challenge is along the way, it's going to be frustrating. No one else on the outside is going to know what it takes to, what goes into this exam. I mean, they could look at the statistics. Right now, I believe it's a 52% pass rate. It is a hard exam, but we have what you need here to do it. You just need to make sure you are pumping yourself up regularly. Okay? You have got this. You're going to do it. We're with you for it. You're not alone. Now, the tip of the day, and this is a tip that I do not take lightly, and any of you guys who already have signed up for the collective and you have the pairing pack with you, there's a piece of paper in there, right, that tells you what's in the pouch, but the other side of it says, my why. You guys see that? You are going to take that out, and I really want you to think about it. What is your why? Okay? You need to find your why. Why the fuck are you here? Why are you sitting twice a week for hours in the evening and then all the hours that you're not in class studying? Why are you doing this? Okay? Because right now you're excited, we're novel, it's exciting for you to see our faces on here. Maybe you listen to the podcast, maybe you've watched our Instagrams. It's exciting. We are fun, even throughout the rest of the classes, don't worry. But I just want you to know there's going to be times when something sounds way more fun than attending class. I couldn't imagine what, but anyways. So, you are going to need to know why you're doing this so you could check back in with your purpose. I'm going to let Danielle start off with her why.
Okay, I don't ever get to go first, so. Okay, so I kind of two whys running this. Okay, so my name is Danielle. I have taken this test 4 times. So I like to deem myself the original multiple time test taker of SNABA. And it's definitely hard to say you've taken the test multiple times because you kind of feel like you're out there by yourself. So I'm going to tell you my why of why, like how I got here and why I did what I did for my 4th time, and then my why for you guys, why I show up every Monday and Wednesday after working all day at public school BCBA. So I have taken my test 4 times. I got a 397 on my 3rd time, which was a real fun moment. So before all of this started, I had gotten through 1,475 of my 1,500 supervision hours, and I was sitting at a conference with one of my BCBAs, and all of a sudden she goes, and I was like, "You good, girl?" And then there was like a lot of whispering, and then we went back to the hotel room, and she's like, "Danielle, I didn't have you watch this video for supervision." And I was like, "It's fine, it's like 8 minutes, I'll just watch it." So I asked the board, and they said no. So my 2 years and 1,475 supervision hours didn't count. So I took a hard deep breath and started all over again. And I got to 1,375 hours, and the board came out with a newsletter that was like, "Hey, good news! You don't have to watch this 8-minute video anymore." And so I emailed them and I was like, "Hey, can I just use what I already had?" And they were like, "Absolutely," which was also infuriating. So I had double the amount of supervision. It took me double the amount of time. So when I got a 397, I took about a 2.5 month break, and I was very upset, obviously. And I had 2 little kids at the time, and so my sweet, wonderful Lily, when you are in collective, you will learn about Lily and Tate, mainly Tate. But my sweet little Lily was very invested in her mom, and all the crying I had done, all the pens and paper and pencil and all the things. And so for me, my why at the time was making sure that I could show my little 6-year-old that her mom could do really hard things, because this was a really hard thing, and she had seen me study over and over and over again and fail. I said, "I'm really good at failing this test," 3 other times. And so at that time, it was really about showing up for my 6-year-old and showing her that her mom does hard things. As much as I cried and as hard as it was, she sat there with me. I remember she was the first person I would explain things to, and I remember explaining the CMOT to her and her getting it and like giving me an example, and that was like a moment I'll never forget. So that was my why when I was studying. It wasn't even about me and passing. It truly was showing my Lily, who's 13 now, that her mom can do hard things. Now, my why for why I show up for you guys is I work all day as a public school BCBA, which is its own beast in itself. But I love coming here Monday and Wednesday night for you guys. One, I have felt it's my responsibility for a really long time. I would say this is probably why Leah hired me also, of like, it's hard to say you've taken this test multiple times, because we kind of live in this space of the one and done, and you just have to remember that most of the time people aren't like, "Hey, I failed." No one's saying that, right? And so I felt like it's my responsibility for a really long time to say that I'm the multiple time test taker, and it's okay, and look what I'm doing. I'm a public school BCBA. I have the job that I have always wanted since I was in the classroom. Like when I was a classroom teacher, I was like, I want to be a BCBA for my school district. I am going on, this is going to be year 6. And I want you guys to know that this is a safe place for you to have taken it multiple times, or you are taking it the first time, because we love you and we show up for you. You become part of our family, and like for me, and I know Leah, like we are giving up our family time to be here with you guys, but that's how important this is for us, because you being successful helps, like, fills our bucket. And we work really hard to pour into you guys through these 24 classes, and you become like last I am not a crier, and the end of last collective I thought, I may cry this time, I may shed one tear, like that was a good group of people who just became a family. I don't cry very much. So like it's just my why is to show up for you and to help you be successful, because this is such a hard, difficult thing, and no one knows how hard it is except for you and the other people who are studying for it. So those are my 2 whys of why I'm here at Study Notes ABA.
Amazing. And Danielle, by the way, for anyone who is feeling like discouraged as someone who's like retaking the test, I'll tell you, Danielle might have taken this test more than once, but this bitch knows her shit, okay? Like, I could go to any of her classes she teaches, and I'm like, oh, I learned something new every time. And yeah, I told you, I've been studying for the last 9 years, or 8 years, whatever it is. So, and by the way, it doesn't say anything who you are as a practitioner, okay? I've seen people who were really past the test easily be really shitty clinicians, and I've seen some of the best clinicians who had to take the exam over and over. So it does not say who you are as a practitioner. There's plenty of people I've seen pass the exam, and I'm like, I would never want you working with my child. Okay? So, but don't worry, we'll give you tips on how to be both. Pass the exam and be a great practitioner through our classes. So,
100%.
that's something I really just want to like remind you of. So, for my why, I'm going to tell you that every person, by the way, just meet the team before I get into it. Every single person at SNABA has a why, okay? And they work here. Just by the way, these are some of the BCBAs you'll be seeing in class. You'll be seeing myself there, looking kind of cool. Danielle. You'll be seeing Kara. Kara, I can just tell you one of her whys right now is she has a lot of health issues like myself. Jessica, she went through it as well while trying to take the test. Everyone here, just for the sake of time, you could find everyone's whys in the Facebook group, okay? But I just want you to know who is here with you. And with that, anyone else on the team that you'll be talking to at SNABA, we are a big family. If you're emailing anything or anything that's happening operations-wise, that's going to be AJ. Julia, anything that you see that is beautifully designed, whether it's a product you're holding or the website or the slide that you're looking at, that's Julia. Martha is my right hand. She literally does everything. Like, whether it's just everything. Anything that's organized, it's Martha. If you get an email sent to you, it's Martha. Anything that's happening, it's Martha, okay? So, but you'll see us teaching class right here. And if you want to know everyone's why, you're going to head on over to the Facebook group. Okay, but until then, meet Liat. This is her. This cute one right here. Cute girl, okay? She's going to tell you her why. Here we go. So, my why is going to start with a little bit of my story. Hey, my story went out of order. This is telling the plot in the wrong order. Shoot. Well, that's awkward. Okay, so you could guess that I got sick at some point. But, so, my why is a little different. I was someone who always knew that I wanted to teach. I wanted to be a teacher since I was the youngest age. I would teach anyone who would listen. I would keep my teacher's old curriculum books that like they had like when they would switch curriculums. I'd be like, can I keep that? Even though it was like world geography or whatever it is. My birthday gift at age 10 when I thought I had like absolutely made it in life was an overhead projector. For any of you guys who don't know what that is, like I realize as we go further into collectives and people are getting younger, maybe you don't know what that is. But you don't? Okay, so look up an overhead projector. I would teach anyone who would listen, and that's what I wanted to do. Then I had a brother who was 6 years younger than me, who at age 3 was diagnosed with autism and an intellectual disability. And so then I just shifted from being a regular teacher to a special ed teacher. So I was someone who always knew what I wanted to do. I felt like I was lucky to like know what I wanted to do in life, and so that was my plan. Ha ha to everyone else who didn't have a plan. Then life happened. By the way, it's also funny that you're going to hear these things that, like, I'm teaching test prep. I was not an academic at all in school. Like, I had the world's worst ADHD. School was, like to get me focused. Like my mom had to get me like tutors for different things. Like they said like getting me to sit down and do homework was like the worst part of their day. So just understand who we're dealing with here. So when I decided to go to school, I got rejected a couple of times, by the way, also from the schools I ended up going to be a special ed teacher. I was in school to do it. Then along the way, my junior year of college, I woke up one day unable to move. Like truly went to bed the night before normally, woke up the next day, like what's going on? Why are my hands so swollen? I can't like stand up. My hair sitting on my shoulder feels like a ton of bricks. What's going on? And that was when I found out, with a lot of time in the hospital, that I was diagnosed with lupus. At the time, I'm like, what the fuck is this? How did I get this STD? I've had one boyfriend the whole time. It wasn't an STD, it's an autoimmune disease. That put me in the hospital a lot. I spent a lot of college in the hospital. Somehow I made it through, and I made it through grad school, like barely, honestly barely. Thank God I was a special ed major, because they have to like really practice what they preach about accommodations and modifications. So I somehow made it through. I started teaching. I lasted like literally as a special ed teacher like 2 weeks into the school year, and I was hospitalized because I was catching everything the kids had, and I was like, okay, well shit, like all I ever wanted to do is be a teacher, and now I'm gonna pivot, like how? So I was like, I'll just do ABA. My master's program was really behavior based at University of Maryland. Go Terps for anyone who's a Terp here. So I thought, and then I got into my class at FIT, and I was like, holy shit, I know nothing. So I was in my class at FIT. I was only able to work so part-time because my health was like so fragile, and I was on a lot of like immunosuppressant drugs. So it took me a long time to finish my hours because I couldn't work full-time. So at the end of like my 2 years of doing my hours, I was like, I'm ready to take this test. I'm going to start studying now. So that was the plan, but life had other plans for me. I had suddenly gotten really sick and like couldn't figure out what's going on. They said my gallbladder needed to come out. Okay, fine. Obviously I listened. My gallbladder came out, and that's changed my life drastically, because not only did I lose my gallbladder, that was resulted in me losing 3 of my fingers, and starting to have a condition that like my hands are like the bane of my existence. I don't get blood to my hands, and the doctors didn't read my medical records, and so I came out of that surgery and watched my fingers decompose over the next 3.5 months. I was hospitalized. I had people like wiping my ass, dressing me. I was full-time on like pain meds. My brain was fried. If you'd say, Liat, 2-7, what did I say? I'd be like, I don't remember the numbers, I'm so sorry. Like my brain was literally like so high on these pain meds, and in an amount of pain that like I was in a really dark place. I always say like, thank God my hands didn't work, or I really believe I would have like killed myself, because life didn't seem worth living. I was in such agony watching my fingers fall off. At that point, I was feeling like not cool at all. I'm 26 years old. I had not been able to hold a job at age 26, so I'd never been able to earn a living, aside from like my like random hours I worked as an RBT, or I wasn't even an RBT, but a tech on the side. And I was just like so depressed, so in a dark place. Like it's actually like I have letters that I couldn't even write in my diary, so I had my mom write the reasons that I should die. Can you imagine as a parent having to write that? That's like pretty. Anyways, look where I am now, not there. And I got my fingers amputated eventually. They were able to like save most of the fingers except for like 3 tips. Most important one I lost was my right middle finger. So I actually have to like think about which one I'm giving when I'm giving someone the finger, because the joke's on me when I give the wrong one. And after I got my fingertips amputated, I never took another pain med, and I was like, I am making something of my life. Like I have to. At that point I was 27 years old, and I'm like, I am going to pass the fucking test. And So from that point onward, I had like moved back home with my parents. I was just feeling really not cool. I also was no longer allowed to take my ADHD meds, which I had been on since 4th grade. I told you school was hard for me. And now it's like, I'm going to pass this test with my fingers cut off with these open wounds that I have to change 4 times a day and not take ADHD meds. Like, good fucking luck. And you know what? I did it. I sat every day at a bubble tea shop. I was back living at my parents' house. And I'd sit and study for this test and write my notes out. I was also an OT, relearning to use my hands at that time. So like picking up marbles, holding a pen. I always loved like artsy stuff. And so at that time, I started posting like my notes on an Instagram account called Study Notes ABA. It was that actually on this bottom picture here was like the actual account. And it was just for me to see my own notes. This is way before like the Snava logo. And people started following it. And then when I posted that I passed, people were like, oh my God, the way that you wrote things helped me so much. And I was like, you know what? If I could pass this test, I believe I could get anyone to pass the fucking test. Hence the motto of the company, pass the fucking test. And so I started teaching classes for free, and I like loved it. I was just like teaching classes like, hey, get on at this time, at 45 minutes, log off, then we'll get back on because it's free. I'd hold up like a little like post-it note like that with my notes. Our notes have gotten a lot better since then. And people would come on, and slowly, oh whoops, I forgot the sick pictures. There I am, really sick. 2016, lost my fingers. Everything went really backwards here. Literally my story is completely backwards, but anyways, that's me in college, that's me working with kids, like my whole life knowing what I wanted to do. Either way, I am where, there I am studying for my test. This whole story went really backwards, I don't know how this happened, but anyways, that's me actually studying with my bandages. LOL, my headphones used to be wired, that's how long ago it was. And when I passed my test, I worked as a clinician for a while, but I was like doing this on the side. And I was like, one day I decided I am taking the leap. I am leaving my job. I know I'll have I have about 6 months to see if I can make this work with Study Notes ABA, because that's how long my health insurance would last. And I'm the kind of girl who has to have health insurance. And I leaned in fully, and I got to come into contact with so much reinforcement of being a part of seeing you guys pass the exam, getting these messages like lights me up every time, and being able to like share that like you can do this no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get there. Like I'm telling you, trust me. If I could see where I am now in terms of like owning a business, like helping other people, like it's way beyond what I could ever have imagined. And now I get the opportunity to do everything that I love every day. Like, I fucking love work. I love teaching. I love bringing it to you. Study Notes ABA is completely who I am personified. So, like, you guys showing up and being a part of this, like, I'm so grateful that I get to teach you guys. Every single thing you see about Study Notes ABA is everything who I am. Whether it's pens, French bulldogs, colors, like humor, comedy, it's all the things that I'm still able to do after I lost my ability to do so much, all in one place. So just know that me being here is like my absolute pleasure and joy. So the fact that you're here, I'm so excited. If I could pass this fucking test with my fingers cut off and with 0 Adderall, any of you, trust me, can pass this test. So just remember that. When you have your paper in front of you now, write down your why you're doing this. It doesn't have to be your fingers cut off. That's like a rare anomaly. It could be as simple as like, I want to be able to pay my bills. I want to be able to give my kids what I want. I want to prove that I can do something that seems impossible. I don't care what it is, but you are going to put this why somewhere that you can see it so you can show up every fucking day to do this, okay? You're motivated now because you heard about my fingers. You heard about Danielle, but you may not be on other days. So remember this and put it somewhere salient, okay? There you go. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We are going to, someone wants to go to Disney whenever they want, okay? There's always one, at least, Disney person in the collective. So, with that, get ready because we're about to buckle in and actually start learning. You guys ready? Yeah? Okay, get your pens out, get your notebook. You're going to be taking notes with us, so get ready. I love seeing people writing their whys in the chat too. That's fun to see. Just let's go. All right, tonight we have 1 page of notes and 2 pages of notes. We'll always tell you how many we have, again, because I like to let you know what you're getting into. So tonight we are going to be talking about the 3 levels of science. Whoever has their book open to the page and can tell me what page we're on will be a teacher's pet. And by the way, we won't always talk to you that long before class, but I think it's important for you to know who you're working with here. Alright, get your cute colors out. Making your notes cute is important. Even if you think you're just like a black Bic pen person, I promise it does something for your mind to help you remember this shit. Okay, so choose 3 of your favorite colors. We're going to be making a 3-tiered cake. I think it used to be what we used to call it a wedding cake, but then both of the main teachers here, Danielle and I, both got divorced, so now we just turned it into like,
It's a birthday cake. It's a post-divorce celebration cake. A new boyfriend cake.
there you go. So make it whatever you want. Here we go. Okay, it has 3 candles because I actually got a text tonight from my ex-husband, like congratulating me on my new relationship. I don't know how he found out about it, but it was definitely very passive-aggressive. But I said, thanks, heart, heart, heart. Hopefully you too soon.
I'm not even hear about that later.
All right, so let's go ahead and label the 3 levels of science. We are going to be talking about science as a whole. So ABA is a science, as is chemistry, biology, medicine, okay? And I talk a lot about medicine because I love drugs, like medical drugs. And maybe other drugs. No, I'm kidding. LOL. Okay, so let's go ahead and label the levels of science because this is a science. We're not even talking about ABA specifically yet. We're talking about just sciences, okay? So we have description, prediction, and control. These are our 3 levels of science, and as you go up, the birthday, divorce cake, wedding cake, whatever, we are okay. All of these help us prepare for the control level of science. Okay, what does this mean? Let me show ya. That says help us prepare for the control. Okay? So, the first level of science we have is description. Okay? All sciences rely on you describing what you see. Alright? So, this is the hashtags, and by the way, in our classes we always use hashtags as words that are like, when you think of description, you're going to want to think of hashtag describe, hashtag objective, hashtag what you see. Okay? So think of like when you post a hot picture of yourself, you can put like hashtag hottie, hashtag thirst trap, hashtag like bad bitch, right? It's like that. Giving other like synonyms. Okay, so hashtag describe accurately. Hashtag collection of facts. Hashtag observed events. Hashtag suggest possible hypothesis. Okay? This is when we are actually quantifying data. Okay? And we are hashtag objective. What does this mean? So first, before we even start trying to organize anything in our environment or what's going on, I need you to describe what you see, okay? So, for example, what this might look like in ABA is like Johnny spit 33 times, okay? What this might look like in medicine is what happened to me this past week. I started having these, with my lupus, I have all weird things going on, but I had like, I don't know if you can see like this red spot on my hand. I had like 5 of these like really weird spots that started turning into blisters on me. That's part of having an autoimmune disease. Something happens all the time, right? So like I'm just describing what I saw. That's like before I even want someone to try and like figure out what's happening to me, I'm gonna just go ahead and give the facts. Like Charlie threw 7 paper planes. Melissa tantrum for 4.5 minutes, right? That's just describing what's happening. This is objective. I don't care about your opinion here. I might be making a little bit of a hypothesis, but I have no idea if it's real, like what's going on, right? I'm gonna be like, oh, it seems like whatever, but I can't say anything yet, right? Now, we get to the next level of science, which is going a little further to figuring out like what's going on, and that's prediction, okay? And this is repeated observations reveal that 2 events, hashtag consistently, hashtag covary with each other. What does that mean? Okay, I'm not saying there's causation, okay? There is no causation, okay? I can't say every time that I do something like that, something's happening. We're just seeing like, okay, they co-vary, meaning, this is a big word, we are able to predict conditional probability. That means that we're able to be like, we think it's because of whatever, right? We see that these 2 events are happening around the same time. So it does, and I notice every time that I give a demand, the child starts tantruming, right? Whatever it is. Or like, every time that I drink alcohol, I get a headache, right? It seems to happen around the same time, but I can't say for sure because I'm not controlling it yet, okay? But at this,
something.
yep, is it that no variables are manipulated?
It sure is.
No variables are manipulated. So at this point, I'm just taking what I see happening, okay? So like I'm not like yet like testing out like to see is it actually the alcohol that makes me have a headache? At this point I'm like just noticing that like okay, I'm seeing that like, well, I have a headache. I'm getting a lot of headaches. I drank alcohol before. I might also write down that like I exercised right before, right? Like whatever it is, you're just like writing these things down and like noticing some patterns potentially. But I can't say like for sure it's because of whatever, right? Or like I'm nauseous, I don't know like for sure why, but I can see like some things that have happened around that time, but I'm not sure, right? We say there is there's definitely a correlation. And this is the classic example of like a lot of college students, they gained in freshman 15, right? Now, we could say there's a correlation between going to college and gaining weight, right? We see a lot of people do it. But we would say it's not causation. Causation would be like the second that you sign up for college, you gain 15 pounds, right? Or like you sign up for college, or like you enter campus and you gain 15 pounds. That'd be like, I could say it's causation. I can't say it's causation here. I just see that there's some things that are happening, right? Like close in time, consistently. All right? So we're getting closer to figuring out what's going on here, right? We're getting closer to seeing like why Leah has these red spots on her hand. We're getting closer to seeing like why Tommy keeps hitting his head. Now we get to the highest level of science, which is like when we're like, all right, let's see what's really going on here. And this level is called control, okay? And this is the ability to predict with a certain degree.
Natalie,
Hi, Gal. That's my.
it's real.
Hi, Gal. That's my brother. Hi, Gal. It's so nice that you're on. Hi. I can't see your picture, but everyone, that's my brother, Gal. Say hi to Gal.
Hi. Lily,
Hi.
what to Dallas?
I'm coming back to Dallas soon, Golly. Thanks for watching my class. They're all saying hi to you. Cute. I love that you're watching. I couldn't see your picture. All right. Now. Oh my God. People know King. Is my dad on this? This is amazing. Hi, fam. My family misses me because I'm out of the country, you know.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Cute. All right. Now, so control is the ability to predict with a certain degree of confidence. Okay? This is when we are actually manipulating variables. Oh, my dad's here, so I better be appropriate. Manipulate variables. Hashtag causation. Hashtag a functional relation. Okay? You're going to be saying this word a lot in ABA. Really in any science. Okay? When we are at the level of control, this is the most valuable result of science.
Whenever you're ready, I wanted to add something in
Please do.
about all of it. Well, about all of it if you're done with control.
Okay, after this. So this is the most valuable result of science that we get. This is when we're actually like figuring out why shit is happening. Why am I getting sick? Why am I having this rash? Why is this person engaging in this behavior? Why is she always texting back her ex-boyfriend? Like, what is going on? Right? At this point, we actually are scientists. We manipulate variables, right? We're like, I want to see what happens if, let's see what happens to her behavior if he blocks her. Let's see what happens if I remove attention from my child. Let's see what happens if I give a demand. Let's see what happens if I take this Adderall, okay? When we are actually controlling, like being like, let me do this, and let me see what happens here, that is control. That is the highest level of scientific understanding. Danielle?
All right, so a lot of times in these first three classes, it's kind of like, why are we learning this? This doesn't matter. This isn't our science, but it truly is. These are your building blocks. So this is a huge building block to what we'll talk about on Wednesday. When you're here, you know I won't know what day of the week it is. But what I want to stop here and say is, we do this. So description is when I go in and I say, hey, this is what the behavior looks like, or the teacher says, here's what the behavior looks like. Then the prediction piece is when the teacher's like, well, when I give them math, they do X, Y, and Z behavior, right? Nothing has been manipulated yet, but there is a prediction there that I'm hearing from the teacher who's saying, these are the problems that behaviors that keep happening when I keep asking them to do math, or I ask them to clean up, or when I ask them to transition, right? And the control piece is where I come in. I come in and I take the ABC data, I'm looking at the environmental variables, and I can say, okay, I can tell you based on data that this behavior is maintained by escape. This behavior is maintained by attention. This behavior is maintained by access. Or maybe it's an automatic behavior. So you are doing this as a BCBA, right? You're going to hear what the behavior looks functional relation. You're going to figure out the control. So tonight and Wednesday, when we're talking about the building blocks of science, they all apply to what we do every single day. So we do this, or I do this, and you will eventually do this. But you probably do this now, and you just probably didn't think about it in your everyday life.
Beautiful. All right. Something that I forgot to write in the beginning of, I forgot to design to talk about the goal of science. I said it briefly, but I didn't write it down, so let's write it down. The goal of science, any science, again, I named lots of different sciences, is to achieve a thorough understanding of the phenomena under study. Okay? So, no matter what it is you're looking at, in our science, specifically in ABA, we're talking about using it for socially significant behaviors. Okay, everyone. Once I see you guys looking back up at me, I'll know that we are ready to go. Hi, Jessica, by the way. I couldn't see anyone in the chat before. Okay, everyone's looking up. That's going to tell me we're ready to go. Amazing. All right, our last page of notes for tonight is right here. And this is also, we're not even in ABA yet. We are straight up in about science as a whole, okay? So, we are going to label this page the attitudes or assumptions of science. I don't love that color combo, but you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Just know that I have zero OCD in me. Like, I could be wearing my clothes inside out, backwards, and like, but the only thing in life that like bothers me is like when I do something with my notes, it doesn't look good, or my color combo or something. All right. So this actually happened when I was in 4th grade and would write these notes to my besties in class. And we were sitting in class, and I actually remember this so clearly. And we were passing notes, me and my best friend Tori, and we're passing notes in class, and suddenly the teacher picks up the note. You know when they like it's like the worst, and you're like, oh shit. And she like picks it up, and out loud she's like, okay, Liat has a crush on Justin, and P.S. Dear PP, and I was like, she's like, what? The bottom of the note said, hold on. But work with me, baby, work with me. P.S. Dear PP. Like I'd written like a PS at the bottom of the note, right? She was like, and so I start pointing out the window, right? And she's like, teacher's like pissed off I'm sending a note, and then she starts seeing that like this deer out the window is like taking a giant piss on like the merry-go-round outside, right? This like deer had so much attitude to just like take a straight like piss on the merry-go-round outside the window, and she was like, oh, okay, like I see what you're talking about. So like she wasn't so mad anymore. But that's how you're gonna remember. P.S. Deer PP. Okay, imagine a deer with attitude peeing outside on the playground. Okay, that is how you're gonna remember the attitudes. Got it? Sorry, again, gotta make sure it's on here. Is it frozen for everyone? I saw something pop up.
No, I can see them.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and fill this out first, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. So the first P we have, all right, is pragmatism. Then our S is selectionism. Then our D is determinism. Then our E is empiricism. Then our next E is experimentation. Then we have R for replication. Next up, we have P for parsimony. And our last P is for philosophic doubt. And while I get this page set up, Danielle's going to tell you like why we even learn this. Like, what is this and why am I stating these random words?
Am I? All right, these are your attitudes or assumptions of science. They're also important. So these attitudes and assumptions of science are where we took them and said, hey, we're going to take these and we're going to build our own, right, for behavior analysis. We are going to build our own 7 dimensions. So when we talk 7 dimensions on Monday, you're going to be like, these sounds really similar. So when you're looking at these, so here's what I tell you. There are 6. And in the book, there are 2 additional ones that say these are also really important to know, which is your pragmatism and your selectionism, right? But your 6 attitudes are your deer PP, and then you have your other ones. But we just put them in a different order to help you remember that. But these are your assumptions of science. This is our building blocks to our 7 dimensions. So they are very important.
Thank you. Okay, I'm ready. Now, first thing we're going to talk about is pragmatism, okay? All sciences that are a science need to be leading with the most you see the word prag there? Practical approach. Yes, I'm aware I spelled practical wrong, okay? Because that's how you're going to remember this. This talks about what we are doing to the intervention, okay? Okay? Hashtag promotes effective action. Also, I want you guys to practice having your book open. Who knows what page I'm on? Say it out loud. Someone.
On page 4.
Okay, whoever just said that, please send an email to contact@studynotesaba.com. You just want a sticker, we're going to send it to you. All right, so, pragmatism. What?
I think that was, is it Senate? I think.
Sinette?
Yeah, Sine.
Sine.
Send an email to contact@studynotesaba.com. I'll get you a prize.
Beautiful. So now, pragmatism is when we're talking about the most practical approach. What does that mean? That means that if someone has a stomach ache, I'm not going to go straight to like pumping their stomach, giving them a MRI, having them drink like tea all at the same time, give them like narcotics, right? It's like, dude, why don't you try to go to the bathroom first? That's a practical approach. Why don't you drink a hot cup of tea? Okay, right? It's like the same when you're working with a client. It's like, okay, you want this person to stop doing this behavior? Cool. Give them something else to do. Right? You want the kid to stop talking to you? Or like, you know, with your own child. Right? I don't need to like reinvent the thing. Like I could just be like, oh, I'm actually trying to make a Zoom call right now. Instead of like trying to like do a whole behavior plan, I'd probably just give Kobe my phone on the side. If that's what I needed. I'm not saying you always give the phone, but whatever it is, let's be real. When you're actually like, when I was a BCBA before I was a mom, I used to be like, never. Now I'm like, take it. Okay? So,
Can I jump in there on
Sure.
pragmatism and practical approach? So when you're thinking about pragmatism, also, like you could think, okay, well, a practical approach is I don't need this very complicated intervention for this escape maintain behavior. I literally can put in a break card, right? That's a practical approach that is going to promote effective action. I don't need to have this super long, complicated thing when I can say, this is escape maintained and they want out of work. We're going to use this break card, request a break, and get out of work. So when you're thinking about a practical approach, that is a practical approach.
beautiful. Great. All right, I see some of you guys are ready, getting ahead, thinking it sounds like parsimony. I'm going to actually move to parsimony next. We're going to skip down to parsimony at the bottom because everyone confuses pragmatism and parsimony, but not you because we're about to talk about it. Inside the word parsimony, you can see the word letters SIM. Okay, that's for hashtag simplest theory. Not you. She thinks I'm saying her name. The Apple girl, you know. I said theory. Simplest theory. Hashtag the explanation. Or the why. Okay? This is when we see something happening. We do not need to overcomplicate why it's happening. Okay? So, let's go back to my stomach ache. Okay? So let's say, oh, this person has a stomach ache. Oh no, it's probably because they were born 2 hours early and, they were exposed to BPA in their water bottle and then they had a breakup with their boyfriend and they had this, blah, 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 right? Okay? Or they just drank expired milk. Okay? That's parsimony, the simplest explanation. Okay? That is going to be why it's happening. So the parsimony is going to be like they drank sour milk. Okay? As opposed to being like they're a Leo and they were born at 7:03 p.m. and they were doing this and blah, 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 so they had a stomach ache. Okay? That's going to be the parsimony is the simplest explanation. The pragmatism is when we're talking about what are you going to do about it? How are you going to intervene, right? So we said the parsimony is simplifying why it's happening. The pragmatism is simplifying the intervention, right? That's instead of me getting it. So the pragmatism is I don't need to get an MRI or start morphine and this and Pepto-Bismol and this and that when I could simply just see if I could go to the bathroom and pass it or simply have a cup of tea, right? That is going to be, so the pragmatism has to do with the intervention. The parsimony is explaining why it's happening. Both of them, yes, are making things less complicated. But one has to do with what action are you going to take? That's pragmatism. And one has to do with why is it happening? And by the way, I expect light bulbs in the chat. How the collective works is anytime that something finally makes sense to you, you go ahead and put a light bulb emoji. Okay? No pressure, but anytime that it comes up, just so you know, we live for them as the teacher. It keeps us going. All right. Thank you, Natalie. Great. So now let's go back up to selectionism. Okay? Selectionism is stating that we have selection by consequences. And this states that anything that evolves is the result of consequences. So, what is that? We select shit that works for us. Okay? So on a like very micro everyday level, like if I tell a joke and people laugh, I'm gonna select that again, right? I'm gonna do that same joke again. If I do my makeup in some way and people are like, Leah, you look amazing, you look better than you've ever looked, I'm gonna do it again. Also, selectionism is on a larger scale of science. Think back to like Darwin and right? And talking about survival of the fittest. Yes, maybe they didn't choose it specifically, but the giraffes with longer necks, the ones that had that, they continued to have long necks, right? It naturally happened because essentially the long necks were reinforced because they were able to access food, right? All the other shorter giraffes who couldn't access the food, essentially that was what we would call an ABA punished, or it wouldn't survive. So, or it wouldn't be a consequence that continues, right? So the tall, long-necked giraffes, they make babies and it continues, okay? So whatever works for us, we'll do again. If you study using a certain method, you're probably going to do it again. If you do something that doesn't work, you won't do it again. That's talking about selectionism. Okay, now determinism. This is stating that the world is a lawful place. This means that as scientists, we assume that the world is a lawful and orderly place. There is a clear cause and effect. This means that we believe that nothing happens in a vacuum. Okay? So, they're like, I have no idea. My kid just started hitting. Okay? They just started banging their head. Whatever it is, it's like, they're like, and nothing was going on. Like, I legit did nothing and they started banging their head. Well, was it really nothing? Right? We know there's always something going on. Whether whatever's going on is maybe internal, maybe they have a headache, so they're banging their head. Or, someone's like, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just get nauseous randomly. Right? That's actually what they're looking for with science, is to be like, okay, so let me go ahead. And you'll go back to your levels of science to be like, oh wow, it seems like you always get nauseous when you stand up quickly. Right? Whatever it is. So, there you go. Now, we are going to talk about empiricism. Oh, and by the way, determine, select. Sorry, I should have done those. Now we're going to talk about empiricism, okay? And I think of this as the word empire. This is hashtag facts, hashtag objective, hashtag got to see it, hashtag observations. I got to see it to believe it. Okay? So for this one, I imagine a fat emperor sitting on his throne. This is him. I really can't draw well here, okay? And he's people are telling him all different things, and he's like, listen, I don't care to hear any of your, what's going on. I just want to hear facts. I don't want to hear any of your bullshit going on. I don't care about your opinions. I just want to know facts. So that is because in science, we are only relying on facts. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care what you think about something. I don't care whether you like it or you don't. I only care about the facts. And that's what empiricism speaks about. So when we talk about something's empirically based, that means it's research based, where it's relying on facts. It's not what you feel in a given day. I know that something is that because of the facts. All right, next up we have experimentation. You can see the word experiment. Okay? This is, and by the way, empiricism. What level of science does that remind you of? Say it out loud. Description, exactly. Empiricism is when we are talking about what we see. What are the facts? Objective. It is description. Now, experimentation, which has the word experiment in it, that is when we are actually manipulating variables. We call this hashtag experimental analysis. We're actually manipulating things. And we are looking for a functional relation. Okay? This is when I'm like, ooh, I want to see if I actually get more done with Adderall. I'm going to take Adderall and then I'm going to take data on how many tasks I get done. I'm going to take Viagra and I'm going to see, do I get an erection? I'm going to go ahead and remove attention and see, does he have a tantrum? Okay? I'm going to take amoxicillin, did the strep go away? Okay? That is what we are doing when we are using experimentation. Okay? Now, yes, exactly. This matches to the level of control of science. Exactly. All right, now we're going to talk about replication. Okay? Replication, in this you can see the word replicate. We have hashtag repeatability, hashtag reliability, hashtag believability, hashtag detect human error. All right, so in any science, that's cool that you did something once, but I want to know that you could do it over and over. Like if you're truly telling me something works, I want to know, okay, but can you do it again, right? Like, for example, let's say someone is like you are going to believe something more. It's going to increase your believability if you see it happen more than once. Okay? So, what does this look like? You say, hey, smoking marijuana removes nausea, stops me from throwing up. Okay? Cool, did it one time. Do it again. Did it work again? Yep. Right? Try it again. Yep. I'm more likely to believe it. Right? The same with repeatability. We'll be like, the reason you might be in here, maybe someone told you about SNABA. I'll tell you, it was a lot harder to get people in here before we had multiple people passing, right? As like, hey, take it from me, I'm this random girl on Instagram, right? The more people you see, the more repeatability, the more replication, it increases your believability. You're more likely to truly believe in something, okay? And it also helps us detect human error, right? Because if we do something more than once and it doesn't work, we're like, oh, maybe there was something else going on, right? So that's why we rely on replication. If I say, hey, guess what? I could get this kid to manned. Okay, you did it once. Was it luck? No, watch, I'll do it again. Oh, amazing, it really is working. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, it works again. Da, da, da. Okay? That is going to be replication. And it's very important in science, the same way that, like, no one wanted to be the first person to get the COVID vaccine. Right? I was like, I'm sorry, but at least how many people have to get it before I do it? Until I would believe it. All right, last but not least is philosophic doubt, okay? And this is doubt. You see that, okay? And doubt, the word here is hashtag healthy skepticism. Hashtag bullshit detector. hashtag question the quote unquote truth. There you go, make it bigger for you. What does this mean? This is when we're talking about any scientist should have this. You better hope. Because I'll tell you what's annoying when you go to a doctor and they're like, I have no idea what it is. You get a client and they're like, I'm sorry, but Holly has 0 reinforcers. I'm sorry, but William is, I think it's just an ear infection, right? And you're like, this is not an ear infection. I've literally had it for 7 years, okay? Philosophic doubt is a healthy skepticism. You do not take anything as like being a fact, okay? This does not mean that you're an asshole being like, that's not true, okay? You're like, oh, okay, interesting. You go into a classroom, teacher's like, I'm just letting you know this kid acts like a dick out of nowhere. Okay, first of all, operationally defined dick, right? No, you're gonna be like, out of nowhere, okay. Or my kid does this. Like, you are going to go in there and be like, The same way when one doctor's like, we don't know what it is, or like, we think it's just, like, what, right? It takes the doctor who's actually going to be like, that actually is unique. Let me go ahead and see what that could, oh, they questioned the truth, okay? That is going to be philosophic doubt. When you're like, a healthy skepticism. You're not an asshole being like, that's not true. Right? Instead, you're like, let me go ahead and look at that myself. When you get a client sent to you, and they're like, the function of this is attention. So you're like, I would go ahead and test that again to see, is it truly attention? Right? So you're just going to question the truth. All right, everyone, you have made it through night 1 of taking notes of class. Let's go ahead and see if you have learned anything.
Okay, so here is how this works so everyone has the opportunity to answer the questions. There are 3 dots at the top of your chat, and you should be able to select who you want to send your answers to. You can send it to me, you can send it to Liat, but try not to post it in everyone because we want to give everyone the opportunity to try and get the answer correct. Here's what I would tell you also, as a disclaimer. If you don't get the questions right, don't stress. It's night 1, and I'm going to tell you, everyone feels like I learned nothing in my master's program, and I'm relearning everything again. And that's okay. So give yourself some grace. This is night 1. You're in chapter 1, and we're going to do some questions, and you're going to answer them. You're going to send them to Liat and Danielle, and then we will go over the answers with you. KISS is keep it simple, stupid.
I didn't write it down because everyone forgets it, so I didn't even add KISS.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
But I mean, I could, but everyone's gonna ask the question still. KISS is keep it simple, stupid. Okay? Ready? Here we go.
All right, here we go. Woo-woo. Let's practice. All right. Billy walks through the front door, drops his keys on the counter, and sighs heavily. I got fired today for no reason. He tells his wife, Kim, a BCBA, raises an eyebrow. She's supportive, of course, but her behavior analyst brain is quietly processing. In her experience, things don't just happen for no reason. There's always a cause, even if it's not immediately obvious. Which attitude of science is Kim relying on in her reaction to Billy's claim? A, parsimony, B, empiricism, C, selectionism, D, determinism. Good job. I am so impressed with this group. Right to me. I love it.